This man is one of the most sadistic serial killers in American history. His name is Rodney Alcala, charming, intelligent, a photographer, a contestant on the dating game, and a murderer. But before he became a killer, he was just a boy with a dark mind and an even darker future. Rodney James Alcala was born in 1943 in San Antonio, Texas. But his childhood wasn't normal. It wasn't safe. When he was just 8 years old, his father abandoned the family, left them alone, forced them to start over in Los Angeles. Something changed in Rodney after that, something no one noticed. Not yet. By the time he was a teenager, people saw him as quiet, smart, a little strange, but nothing alarming. At 17, he joined the U.S. Army. It should have been a new beginning, but instead, it revealed something terrifying. Rodney Alcala had a nervous breakdown. Doctors diagnosed him with antisocial personality disorder. They labeled him dangerous, discharged him, but no one stopped him. And soon, he would prove just how dangerous he really was. September 1968, Tali Shapiro, just 8 years old, was walking home when a car pulled up beside her. She hesitated, but he looked safe, harmless. She got in the car. Minutes later, a witness saw something terrifying, a little girl being dragged inside an apartment and the door slamming shut. The witness called the police, and what they found inside was pure horror. Tali Shapiro was on the floor, beaten, strangled with a metal bar, barely alive. And Rodney Alcala? Gone. For years, he disappeared. No one knew where he was. No one knew what he was planning. But when he came back, he would be worse than anyone imagined. Where did Rodney Alcala go? And how did he become the monster known as the dating game killer? When Rodney Alcala fled California, he didn't just disappear, he became someone else. New name, new city, new life. He enrolled at New York University's film school under the name John Berger. And his professor? None other than Roman Polanski, the same man whose wife, Sharon Tate, was murdered by the Manson family just a year earlier. But Alcala wasn't just studying film, he was perfecting something else. Luring women in, pretending to be a photographer, getting closer to his next victim. Her name was Cornelia Crilly, a 23-year-old flight attendant, smart, kind, full of life. She never saw him coming. When police found her body, she had been strangled. Her apartment showed no sign of forced entry. Whoever did this, she had trusted him enough to let him in. Rodney Alcala was getting better at killing. Then, something unexpected happened. Alcala got a job as a counselor for children. Then, one day, 2 camp counselors saw a newspaper, a wanted poster from California. A call was made. Police confirmed it. John Berger was actually Rodney Alcala. And just like that, after 3 years on the run, they finally had him. After years of hunting him, the police finally had Rodney Alcala in custody. But there was a problem. The only person who could testify against him was 12-year-old Tali Shapiro. Her parents refused to let her go through it. They didn't want her to relive the trauma. So, without her testimony, prosecutors had no choice. The attempted murder charge? Dropped. Instead, Alcala got just 3 years for child assault. And in 1974, after serving less than 3 years, Rodney Alcala walked free. But here's the part that no one could believe. After his release, psychiatrists warned the parole board, he is dangerous. He will kill again. They let him out anyway. And just weeks later, he did. And this time, He wasn't just a predator, he was a serial killer. How many more would have to die before they finally stopped him? Between 1971 and 1979, a series of brutal murders began to haunt America. Women, girls, even children vanished without a trace, leaving behind a trail of terror that no one could piece together. Every case shared a chilling signature, a charming stranger, a seemingly innocent photo session, and then darkness. For Rodney Alcala, photography was more than an art form. It was a meticulously crafted trap. Women believed they were stepping in front of a camera for elegant portraits, never suspecting that each click of the shutter captured the last moments of their trust. The camera became his instrument of deception. Every smile frozen on film was a testament to his ability to lure victims into a deadly dance, a dance that ended with terror and tragedy. Then, in 1978, Alcala made a fatal miscalculation. On national television, he appeared as a charismatic bachelor on The Dating Game, showcasing a face so disarmingly pleasant that it masked the monster beneath. How could a man who lured, manipulated, and murdered so many be celebrated on TV? That very public slip-up exposed the duality of his existence, a dual life that fooled everyone, even those who thought they knew him. The killings escalated. Each new victim bore the unmistakable hallmarks of a methodical killer, an approach that grew increasingly brazen and brutal with every passing day. Officers struggled to connect the dots, unaware that behind each disappearance was the calculated hand of a predator who had perfected his craft, turning ordinary moments into deadly encounters. In a world where trust is our greatest vulnerability, Rodney Alcala transformed every interaction into a potential death sentence. As his body count rose, one ominous question loomed. How many more would fall before justice finally caught up with him? The search for truth had only just begun. In 1980, the long, twisted chase finally ended. Rodney Alcala, the man who had terrorized so many, stood before the court of law. But even in the face of justice, he refused to play by the rules. In an unprecedented move, he dismissed his lawyer and chose to represent himself. A serial killer defending his own crimes. A spectacle that left the courtroom in shock. Throughout the trial, Alcala manipulated every moment. He interrogated witnesses with a cold precision, as if discussing art rather than murder. But the real bombshell came when investigators opened a forgotten storage locker. Inside were hundreds of photographs, images of young women, many of whom were never identified. Every photo was a haunting reminder of lives cut brutally short. These images were more than just evidence. They were the undeniable proof of a monster who had claimed far more victims than anyone could count. After only 2 days of deliberation, the jury reached their verdict. Rodney Alcala was found guilty and sentenced to death. Yet even as justice was finally served, a question loomed large. Had the system truly stopped a monster, or had it merely delayed the inevitable reckoning for countless more victims? Years later, new DNA evidence would reveal an even darker truth. While the court confirmed a handful of murders, experts believe that the true number of Alcala's victims may exceed 100. We found photos, we found evidence, but there are still gaps, bodies, names, stories, forever lost in the darkness. Rodney Alcala died in prison in 2021, alone on death row. Yet his legacy, a legacy of terror, manipulation, and unanswered questions, continues to haunt us. In the end, some wounds may never heal, and some mysteries may never be solved. The true extent of his crimes remains a shadow that will haunt history